8th takeaway of the season. Next play, Williams rolling right.
Unbelievable right here.
The Iceman cometh.
Oh, my goodness.
I still can't make sense of how that ball got to DJ Moore.
And great job by DJ being able to focus through all that traffic and bring it in.
4 catches for 69 yards and the 2 touchdowns for DJ Moore. And this one looked like a dot from Sanders. Instead, Jalen Johnson. Don't give that man a chance at the ball. Rips it away. Sanders finishes 18 of 35, 177, 3 interceptions. Salted away Chicago. DeAndre Swift. Those roads, they're well paved. Swift finished with 18 carries for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns of his own. As the Bears win it 31-3, their largest point differential win since 2020, Mac.
10-plus wins in the season since 2018?
It's a 10-win season.
What were you doing in 2018, Joe?
Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Don't ask about my life. 2018? Where was I in 2018?
He was here. We just started. HQ.
No. I was on the San Francisco 49ers sideline. Doing something up in Northern California. It's not important. Always been in Chicago because that's where the heart is. 10 wins for the Bears. Back in studio with reaction to both of these quarterbacks and the outcome that we saw here. This was a perfect trap spot for Chicago, or at least that's what Chicago media would tell you all week long was it's a tough defense.
It is.
It's going to be cold weather that sort of brings these two teams closer together, and the Bears went out there and proved something off a loss. What'd they prove to you, Mac?
They're a for-real team. They're legit. I love their coach. I love the culture he's created there in Chicago. Their quarterback has a superstar-like arm, and everything else in terms of how they play the game of football fits the Chicago way. It's cold outside. I mean, it's frigid. The field is frozen, but they play a brand of football, which is encouraging because if they mess around and get that top potential seed, win their division, and of course have a home playoff game, you don't want to go to Chicago with how they play football. They're a very physical team. They lean on you. They run the football. It feels like DeAndre Swift has turned into a bruising running back with his style and how he leans on defender. And you talk about what Kyle come in as a change of pace. What Ben Johnson has created, what he had in Detroit. 2 different running backs that coexist nicely in the backfield. You got a change of pace wide receiver who what he had in Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have that now, and Luther. And then you look at the tight end production that he has along with the offensive line. Man, he's done a great job, man. Never, ever think that coaching is overrated.
It certainly matters in Chicago
because
right
it matters when you get the right guy, and they're playing a different brand of football. And I love that they took care of their business instantly. They didn't play around with the food.
And that was very much in the cut of the jib of Chicago, what we expected in this game. It's a less than stellar run defense for the Cleveland Browns. It was sort of run it 50 times and find yourself a win. We saw 17 of 28 for 242 and 2 touchdowns out of Caleb. This man in near 0-degree weather throwing the ball like that, Emery, what did that show you?
This is as much as we say the NFL, the margin for victory or error is razor thin because everybody's good, right? But there's a clear separation when you have Jimmy's and Joe's. And this was a Jimmy's and Joe's game. And when you look at the Chicago Bears and you strip away all the names, you're like, well, could be an NFC Pro Bowl team. You got DeAndre Swift, you got Caleb Williams, you got 2 good tight ends, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, you got Luther Burden, you got DJ Moore. You have all of these, they have great weapons, juxtaposed to the Browns who don't have great weapons. And when we talked about this all throughout the show, the Eric Bieniemy factor. Like, that's why Swift is doing what he's doing, because he's doing what he's supposed to do within the construct of the game plan and within the construct of the run play. And Monangai is doing the same thing. We don't see any false steps from Monangai nor Swift, and the offense did exactly what it was. They played like this was 75 degrees outside.
Yes, they
Cleveland
did.
played like it was cold.
Cleveland absolutely played like it was cold, and I think that was a great point that the two of you have made about that weather and how no one's going to want to go to Chicago and play in that weather. Don't know why Chicago wants to build an indoor stadium, of course. Oh, to get a Final Four? Oh, to get a concert? Okay.
Sat in that north end zone.
Well, yeah, whatever. We'll talk about that later on. Look, this is what I saw from the Cleveland Browns. It was a team who, once they went down, it was too cold for them. And, you know, this is still a young team. You talk about not really having stars. Look, Quinshon Judkins could be. Harold Fannin is getting that way, right?
No run game tonight.
But no run game. Absolutely. Shedeur Sanders was the leading rusher. He had 2 carries. If that tells you anything at all, up front, they're going to have to rework that offensive line. You're going to have Myles Garrett, who's going to get Defensive Player of the Year and probably the sack record at some point in the next week or 2. And none of it's going to matter, right? And you look forward to what is beyond, because we know that Chicago, what is beyond for them. They're playing January 1st. football. They may be even waiting a week to play January football because they could get the #1 seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, for the Cleveland Browns, you may be looking at a coaching change. You may be looking at a shakeup in the front office. And it's going to, they may not have their quarterback of the future. We've all been excited about Shedeur Sanders. He had 3 interceptions today. One was not his fault. I mean, that was a hell of a pass to Jerry Jeudy that ultimately got intercepted. But he's still getting things figured out. Still needs the play sheet and has to get it changed out on the sideline. So the Browns in this game, once you get to this point in the season, when you have a team that could potentially compete for a Super Bowl versus a team that will not compete for a Super Bowl for years, this is the result you get.
You said it, 3 interceptions. It could have been a 4th as Nahshon Wright drops one. There was also a fumble that he was bailed out on, whistled at. Too many giveaways for Shedeur in this game. For the Chicago Bears, big one coming up again with the Green Bay Packers, potentially.
Noon, 2 division leaders, Packers at Broncos on CBS. A game with some division stakes when the Panthers visit the Saints. Lions, Rams, the well-documented quarterback swap between those 2 teams. And how about the return of 44-year-old Philip Rivers at 4:25 on CBS? Not that we need to make these games any more interesting, but when you have the opportunity to, you always take it. That's why we welcome in Mike McClure to help us with some best bets here. Let's start with Packers, Broncos, and you're keeping it simple with the Green Bay money line. Why do you think they'll win?
Yeah, Emily, I like the Green Bay money line. I don't think it's a terribly difficult spot for them in terms of travel. Of course, you're playing at altitude, but they've always been able to play really road games well because of their home baseline in Green Bay and that cold. To me, it's all about Josh Jacobs being active, though. This is going to be a defensive struggle. I think the game simply means more to the Green Bay Packers, actually, right now than it does to the Denver Broncos. But having Josh Jacobs in there, I think, is key. I think they're going to be able to run the football still, which ultimately gives them the edge. I priced them in this game as a -3 road favorite. While the Denver Broncos have had a great season and a great record, I do think that they are a little fluky in the way that they've won some of the games here. I trust LaFleur. I like Jordan Love in this spot. Give me the Packers here on the money line.
Yeah, certainly a lot more on that Broncos defense than the offense. Let's go to Colts, Seahawks. Of course, Mike, all of our attention has been on Philip Rivers, but you think that it could maybe take him and all of these offenses a bit to warm up?
Yeah, I think I'll go a slow start here. Give me the under 7.5 in the opening quarter. I just think it's a lot to ask for multiple scores here. I don't expect much out of Rivers and the Colts early. It's a very difficult environment to step into, frankly. It's not an indoor game in that controlled environment. We're likely to see rain here. It's one of the most hostile environments in all of the National Football League against a very good defense that stops the run. So Jonathan Taylor, while they probably lean on him early, I don't think they find a ton of success. It's essentially a running clock. And then on the side of the Seahawks here, I expect a more conservative effort overall, considering the circumstances with the opponent and the fact that their Super Bowl essentially in the regular season is next week on a short week on Thursday Night Football, head-to-head against the Los Angeles Rams. I think it's a conservative start here, under 7.5 in the first quarter.
Fantastic point there. Speaking of the Rams and of quarterbacks, these two have some history with their opponents when we're talking Lions and Rams, of course, the Stafford and Goff trade of 2021. Yep. But you're eyeing the underdog, Detroit on the road. Why?
Yeah, it's a desperation spot for them, frankly. You talk about the Detroit Lions. While they've had an okay season, certainly not the one they imagined preseason, they're on the outside looking in because of how strong their division has been and the NFC as a whole. I just like this team indoors, though. This is still their baseline. When you talk about playing in LA, there's not much of a home field advantage. It's a lot closer. Like, it's the NFL's version of a neutral site game when you have a passionate fan base like Detroit here. But it really, to me, it's about Goff and company getting to play in the controlled conditions. As far as the Rams, I'm also a little worried about Devontae Adams. He's going to give it a go today, but almost 33 years old, dealing with a hamstring injury the way he plays is not ideal at all here. I think this is a field goal game either way. Give me the Lions plus 5.5.
I certainly hope it is. Some of these early slate games, not as tight as we would have preferred them, so hoping for a close one between Lions and Rams. How about the Panthers? They need a win over the Saints for the potential tiebreaker scenarios in the NFC South. But you don't care, Mike, as long as there are points.
Yeah, give me points here. Look, and it's certainly fueled by that Panthers side. I love the fact that we're looking at such a low total indoors in a dome in December. That's so much different than playing outdoors in the NFL. But it really comes down to the Panthers in this one. Offensively, the massive opportunity in front of them here, thanks to the Atlanta Falcons beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was a huge, huge gift, the way that shook out for the Panthers. I think they rally with some of that momentum. But when you look at the Saints, don't let the 3-10 record fool you. They've been competitive in a number of games, and they've actually been able to push teams in terms of scoring. So I thought the number, considering the circumstances, should have been 43.5 here. I will go over.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck playing well, coming off a win. Like you said, though, just their third win of the season, but a win.